You've probably seen or heard a new Tom and Jerry movie is slated to come out in 2021. The movie stars the titular cat and mouse characters, along with Hit Girl from Kick-Ass. Yeah, I can't wait to see her slice the shit out of these two. I'm kidding, of course. To be honest, I'm not sure the movie looks all that great, but I'm probably not the target audience. The Tom and Jerry I grew up with could be very violent, yet provided some clever laughs to go along with it. From what we see in the trailer, I can appreciate that the duo aren't necessarily friends, as well as the animation looks to be well done. The rain effect on Tom is pretty stunning to look at, makes him seem to be in a 3D space. But we're here to talk about a different Tom and Jerry movie today, and since this is a gaming channel, you know you're in for some gaming content. So, we're going to look at 3 Tom and Jerry games to come out on 8-bit platforms. Be sure you stick around for the third one, because if you haven't seen this one before, you're in for a wild surprise. Let's start off with Tom and Jerry the Movie on Sega Master System. Released in 1992, and based on the movie from 1992, well, okay, so it really has nothing to do with the 1992 movie, except for the fact that they both include Tom and Jerry. What you have here is a platformer where you play as Tom, who's chasing Jerry, if you can imagine that premise, right? Like usual, Jerry is an antagonistic asshole to Tom as he coaxes you along, mocking you and trying to make sure you die a violent, horrific death. The little jerk can climb walls too. What is it about mice in video games that gives them the ability to climb walls? I'm looking at you, KO the Mouse from Little Samson. Tom controls kind of like the Prince of Persia, but a little worse. I don't know how many times I tried to make a jump and Tom's momentum carries him too far and he just walks off the ledge. I will say the game looks kind of neat, and I like the use of the chosen color palettes. Honestly though, the game overall is a little boring. I think we can find something a little more interesting on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Tom and Jerry and Tuffy, the ultimate game of cat and mouse. Damn, that's a mouthful of a title. I guess it was the 90s, a time where alternative rock bands had super long titles for their songs. I like to imagine what their album cover would look like. If only this game were half as fun as that mock-up cover. I do enjoy the opening title screen chiptune version of the classic Tom and Jerry main theme by Scott Bradley, but that's pretty much where the fun ends. Look, I know some people grew up with this game and probably love it, but I just can't do it. I love the cartoons, but this feels like a cheap cash-in. I'll show you what I mean. You play as Jerry this time, and the object of the game is to take him through this sloggy platformer until you get to the end boss, which is Tom the cat himself. In fact, all the end bosses at the end of every level is Tom. I have to admit, the sprite work overall is quite nice for the NES. There are actually several visual treats to be seen in the game. Like, look at this NES that's to scale with Jerry here. But good looks can only take you so far. Let's talk about Jerry's weapon for just a minute. Now, you probably know I'm not a fan of lob mechanics in a game. Now, you might be saying, oh, you're just trying to copy the angry video game nerd by slagging on the lob. Really, did I just say slagging on the lob? But when he's right, he's right. You're constantly jumping and missing your enemies since there's no light or hard jump, only one big leap. This gives you even less control of where your little mouse ball goes. So if you or your kid loves Tom and Jerry, don't buy this game for him. Get anything else. In fact, if you can find it, just buy him this next game instead. That's right, we're here. Tom and Jerry 3 for the NES. Or is it Tom and 3 Jerry? What happened to Tom and Jerry 2? The hell if I know. But are you ready for the most amazing NES cutscene? Or the most amazing cutscene you've ever seen in a Tom and Jerry game? Well, feast your eyes on this. What the hell is Tom doing? Lighting up a doobie? Look at Jerry, he's all about it. Running over to Tom like, puff, puff, pass, motherfucker. You see? Jerry's breathing hard, trying to get that contact buzz. Alright, to be honest, that was pretty much my whole inspiration for making this video. We might as well end it now. Oh, really? You want to see more? Fine. Well, this game pretty much sucks. You start the game off as Jerry, but this NES treasure actually thought to give you the ability to play as both Tom and Jerry. It took a bootleg gaming company to figure out most people would want to try to be both titular characters. I guess when you don't give the people what they want, the people will give it to themselves. I suppose that's how most fan games are made, right? Maybe that's all this is. Well, as a fan of Tom and Jerry, let me just say they did shitty. First off, the projectiles are not only using that dreaded lob mechanic, but they also can't hit shit. It feels like everything you launch just passes right through the enemies. Also, look at how slow Jerry moves. Is he walking through molasses? Not the asses of the rodent known as moles. Although Jerry's a rodent too, so he might be into moles' asses. Oh great, here's a water area. I'm sure Jerry's speed will pick up now. Finally, made it to the end of the water. Jump! Jump! And I'm dead. I give up on this game, but totally worth it for that opening cutscene. That about wraps it up for this video. Of course, there were several more Tom and Jerry games as time went on. The SNES, the N64, the PlayStation, and the Nintendo DS all had games. Now that we've covered the early games, I'm not too sure anything Tom and Jerry has done since the early cartoons has been all that great. It doesn't give me much hope for the movie, though I will withhold judgment until I see it. How about you? Are you going to see the movie? Have you played any of these games we discussed? Did I miss your favorite game? Leave a comment. It's always a blast reading what you have to say. Until next time.
That's all, folks.
Oh, wait, that's Looney Tunes. Let's not even get started on that franchise.